Do you want an Atmos mix that gives your entire system a workout, puts things in all of the speakers, including a ton of stuff in the height speakers, and is just a really entertaining and fun experience? Well, I got the thing for you. Hey, how you doing? My name's Nick Matsky. I'm a guitarist and a mixing and mastering engineer, and I've recently just started mixing in Atmos for the last year. I'm also a big home theater fanatic, so the intersection of home theater and Atmos music is a really cool thing that allows me to create some awesome demos of stuff that I've always wanted to hear in my theater. This song is an original song that I did. This is a library track that I did probably 10 years ago. It never got picked up for anything, but I thought this would be a good track to do for an Atmos mix. It's kind of an EDM track with a couple of guitar tracks, and I tried to do some cool things on this mix that I haven't done yet with Atmos. So in order to play back this file, you're going to want to go to the link down below, and it's going to take you to my website where you can download the link for free. It's just going to take you to a Google Drive link, and it's going to be an MP4 file. On that same page where you download it, it's going to have all the instructions about how to play it back, but just a quick little 20-second summary of playing it back. If you have like an NVIDIA Shield or a Blu-ray player that'll play back MP4 files in Atmos, that's an easy way to do it, like just via a thumb drive. I think the easiest way is if you have a PC laptop, is just install the Dolby Access app, and it'll play back on Windows Media Player. It's completely free. You just plug that into your AVR or your Pre-Pro. So when you play back the mix, you'll see this on screen, which is the Dolby Atmos renderer. And for this mix, and what I did, which I didn't do in my previous ones, and if you want to go check out my previous mixes, I did one of Focus by Ariana Grande, and I also did an awesome quick calibration file for Atmos, which you can download on the same page you're downloading this mix. What I added was a couple windows from Fiedler Audio, Dolby Atmos Beam plugin, which shows you some of the individual instruments. Now you can see everything here on the renderer. The little balls bouncing around are basically the objects. When they're green, they're lower in volume. When they're yellow, they're louder in volume. But for example, there'll be parts where I have like the lead synth is just this one here. So if you want to just follow the lead synth and see where it goes, or just the guitar or just the drum, should be easy to figure out as you see it goes along. Some of the windows will move in and out. Now I'm going to talk about some of the cool things I did on this mix. I think maybe the coolest part is probably the breakdown and the ending. So when it gets to the breakdown, I have everything go up into just the heights. You'll hear a little filtered drum loop, bass thing, kind of thumping back and forth, guitar thing going back and forth, and it sounds really cool for the breakdown. Everything just kind of sucks up to the heights. And then at the very end, the whole mix is kind of going crazy, and everything kind of swirls up like a tornado and sucks up into the height channels and then drops back down for the final note with a big bass drop. So that's pretty cool. But some of the other things, just kind of going through the song, and I'm going to point some out so you kind of know what to listen for, and you can kind of check this out. There's kind of two ways to do, listening to an Atmos mix. You can do it. It's nice to have the visual here, but one thing that's cool is when you do see it on here and kind of know what you're listening for, it's also nice to just close your eyes, because when you close your eyes, it kind of it heightens your other senses, So if you close your eyes, I feel like you can hear some of the stuff a little bit better as far as where it is. So kind of once you know what to listen for, then it's also fun to listen with your eyes closed and see, how much better you can hear some things. So starting at the top of the song, you'll kind of hear this big tom hit kind of at the right side of the room, moving up to the right front. And you'll have this guitar moving overhead. Then the next section, you're going to have like this thumping bass that's going to start kind of moving around the room. And then you're going to have this other second bass track that kind of flies over your head from the left and goes over you to the rears and then back up to the front left while the thumping thing is going around you and the guitar moving around you, which is cool too. One thing I forgot to explain is how some of the bed instruments are laid out, which you won't see on there. Now, I always have to say, for people in home theater, we think of the bed layer as the ear level speakers. I'm going to refer to that as the bass layer because we think of bed layer, height layer when it comes to home theater. But in Atmos mixing, there's stuff called bed and object, and it's how it's encoded. Okay, so anything that's encoded in the bed, which is limited to the 7.1.2, is not going to show up in the render as these little balls. You'll see them in the meters up here, but it's not going to show up as things move around. It has to be encoded as an object for it to move around here. Now I've encoded quite a few things as objects, but there's also a few things that are stuck in the bed, so you won't necessarily see them on there. So like some of the basic instruments, like the kick, I've got left and right. I've got the snare kind of in the center, but just up a little bit. So it's just a little bit in the height. So it's kind of like, it's like in your face, but a little bit up. I've got two different drum loops kind of in the left and right speaker, but those are also just elevated up just a little bit, just to kind of give a little sense of height with those. And then you've got usually like the thumping bass for a lot of it, when it's not moving around, it'll be in the back. Now that I do have as an object, even though a lot of times that's just staying in one spot. And then another is the rhythm guitars. Those are kind of on the sides and the rear of you. Another thing that's in the bed that you're not going to see, and this is something I try to do with this mix that I hadn't done yet with the previous mix that I did, which was really try to work on the ambient stuff with the reverbs. So I used both the reverbs that I printed when I did this mix, years ago, and then I used some new reverbs that I created for this and kind of moved them into different spaces. So the reverbs are mostly kind of behind you in the rears, and I've got them kind of in the rear heights, and then also into the kind of in between the rear heights and the rear surrounds. There is that point, though, like I said, in the middle where everything sucks up to the heights. Then I just move everything, even the reverbs, up to the heights for that. But yeah, so it was fun kind of getting a feel more for the ambience and the space, along with all the other stuff going on, because there's a lot of stuff that's moving around. So when we get to the main part of the song here, you've got the lead synth, which you can see moving around there, but like it's also right here in this square if you want to just watch the lead synth. And every time it's got that da-da-da-da-da-da pattern, it's going to do something cool. I just basically tried a few different cool automations for some cool panning things, when that's just like jumping around, da-da-da-da-da-da to different speakers. So you'll have to kind of check that out. Now when it gets to this bridge section here, you're going to see right here, this is the tom that's flying all the drum. Okay, so you'll kind of hear that moving around, plus that funky rhythm guitar moving around you. Now this synth, that's going to be doing a lot of stuff overhead, behind you, moving all around. Okay, now coming up next is the breakdown, where everything is going to go up into the heights. So for this section, everything you hear is just in the heights. And it's a really cool effect when you hear it in your theater. If I didn't mention this yet, if you're enjoying this, don't forget to please like and subscribe. The best way for these videos to get more traction is if you guys like them, if you comment, if you share them. That would mean the world to me. I'm doing this all for free, just for fun, and to make some cool, Atmos content for home theater lovers. So if you guys are enjoying this, please like, comment, share, all that stuff. Really appreciate it. Support. Thank you. Also, another thing I forgot to mention is while it's best to download this MP4 and listen on an Atmos system, or if you can't do that, listen on like some AirPods, with headphones. But I will have the binaural mix for this song at the end if you're on the road or something, or just not at home and you can't listen to the Atmos mix at the moment if you want to check out the binaural. But I would say wait to check it out on a real speaker system. That's the best way. So after we get to this breakdown here, we've got kind of same thing from the intro, where you've got that flyover with the other bass going, from front left, flying over, back right, back to front left. And then you've got the guitars kind of running around the outside of the room too, which is kind of cool. Now, when it gets back to this part, the main part with the melody, there's some cool panning things going on. So one of them's right here. It kind of went da 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 da. So each individual beat, I know that goes by kind of fast, it's going to one speaker. Then the next one I do, we'll do that da 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 thing. It's seven notes. It'll go around all 7 bass layer speakers, I should say. Cool right here because it goes da 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 da. So it's like front height left, rear height left, rear surround left. Then it goes front height right, rear height left, front height right, rear height right, rear surround right. Da 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 da. So that's pretty cool. Right here, what I was talking about, right there, what moves around the 7 bass layers. And then I've got like kind of a zigzag, almost like a Z, that it goes from the heights and the back with that da-da-da-da-da-da. Here's that part where I was saying everything kind of sucks up into the heights for the ending and then drops down. And there's some nice bass drops in here if you've got a good subwoofer. I've got some bass drops that'll go all the way down to 20 hertz. So if you got some subwoofers that'll dig deep, it'll sound really nice on those. So again, thank you for checking this out. If you really enjoy it, please share it, like, subscribe, all those things. Go check out my other mix of Focus. Download that quick calibration file, which is just a really handy file if you want to ever just like quickly check to make sure all your speakers are hooked up. How low can your subs go? Just a quick volume check. Just a real quick calibration. So appreciate you guys. See you on the next one.